There we go. 3, 2, and 1. Yo, y'all know what it is. It's the final buzzer with DeShaun Tate. Episode 19 of. Appreciate everybody for checking in and joining me. You know, this is a little bit of a platform that I put together to just basically give some recaps, man. 15 minutes or so after the NBA playoffs / now what you know to be the NBA Finals, 2020 NBA Finals. First game in the books, game 1 in the books. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Little stepping stone for the podcast. Appreciate everybody for subscribing to that. Subscribe. Anywhere you find your favorite podcast, that being iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Red Circle, the whole 9. Also streaming live on the IG. Also streaming live on YouTube as well. Make sure that you go and give me a follow at Tate's Take Hoops on all social media platforms. TATES TAKEHOOPS. Now, without further ado, I want to get into this, and I got my dude Iron Mike Dice coming in here in just a second. Game 1, number 1 seed, Los Angeles Lakers beat the number 5 seed in Miami Heat 116-98. Now the Lakers lead the series 1-0 and just 3 games from being NBA champs. I want to ask this question first because I want to give the people an opportunity to kind of chime in from time to time. As you can see on the bottom of the ticker, you can feel free to leave a comment below with some questions, opinions, whatever you've seen throughout the course of the game. Who did you have winning the series, which I feel like is probably a no-brainer at this point, but even more so, how many games did you have it going? Did you pick Miami? Were you like pretty much everybody else in the consensus where you took LA? But my question is tonight, of course, we're going to get through the whole recap thing and everything like that for Dice join us, but who will you be the happiest for despite who wins the NBA championship? So you pick one player off of each team. Who would you be happiest for? And mine is pretty much, for the most part, very simple. Okay. I feel like everybody will agree with me on one, maybe not necessarily the other. Now, the one that I do feel like everybody would probably agree with me on is Jimmy Butler. I would be super happy for dude if Miami took this thing for him to be able to get that championship because he is obviously very competitive. Everybody, like, this is an offensive-led type of NBA that we are currently in. And with that being said, I honestly feel like his offense and defense is so balanced, in my opinion, and just the kind of competitive nature that he has in his leadership and just the time that he spent in Chicago and time that he spent in Minnesota and just different places like that, Philly. You know, for him to be able to get something like that, win a championship, I think would be great for his career because everybody talks about Duncan Robinson and him coming over from like a D2, D3 school or whatever, what have you. I don't think that enough people know that like dude started out in junior college a lot himself before obviously going over to Marquette. So I'm just kind of curious to know who on this Miami team that you guys would be happy for if they were to get a ring. And as unlikely as that is, what is obviously a little bit more likely is the player for the Los Angeles Lakers that I would be most happy for would be Dwight Howard. And here's the reason why. It's real short, real simple. Okay. Obviously, you know, I've over the course of the last 5 years or so, I've done quite a bit of work for the Atlanta Hawks. Okay. Sideline reporting, that type of stuff, whatever, what have you. And all I heard, and this is just a pretty good reason for why you don't really, you know, people tell you not to judge a book by the cover. All I ever heard about Dwight Howard was just a whole bunch of negative stuff. I'm not going to get too long-winded into this stuff, but just a whole bunch of negativity about how he's a prima donna and he's a diva and all this other type of stuff. When I had the opportunity to meet Dwight Howard, like that's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Forget about just one of the nicest athletes, just one of the nicest people that I ever had a chance to talk to, sit down with, was always very welcoming, always very kind to me, never showed me anything in regards to where a lot of people, you know, were really kind of saying these different things about him. And I never really seen that side of him at all. So just really made me feel comfortable, you know, even in cases where I was just kind of starting out. on my job and whatnot. And for him to kind of embrace me and maybe not take me up under his wing or anything crazy like that, but for him to be overly kind and make it feel like it was a pleasure to be interviewed by me, I always thought was super cool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Dice up in here because I want to ask him the question real quick. Y'all know we going to cut up. That's what we do. Always. You got the Splash Brothers out there on the West Coast, out there in Oakland in the Bay. You got the Smash Brothers over here this way. So, I'm going to bring my dude in like a brother from another mother, man. So I want to ask him the question too before we start getting into some of this recap stuff. Yo, Iron Mike, was popping, bro? Like I got to get your opinion on these games, but first, I do have a question for you. Before I do that, man, let me ask you, what's popping, bro? How you feeling?
Oh, everything's great, man. Game one, the NBA Finals is awesome, man. I thought you were telling the people when you used to intern for me years ago. I mean, did I miss the story when you used to intern for me back in the day? Is that what I missed just now? What's going on?
I heard. Okay, so I get. Hold on, bro. So I get that today is October 1st. Now, for the people who don't know, Dice's brain is working slow. He thinks it's April 1st. He think it's April. Cuz think it's April Fool's. I don't know really where he got it twisted at. It's cold enough outside. However, let me say this, bro. I was just kind of asking the people, and feel free to check me out at Tate's Take Hoops. Feel free to check out Dice at the Delegate 24. But picking one player off of each team, who would you be the happiest for if they were to get a championship?
Wow, that's a tough one, man. Are there any like disclaimers or restrictions? Does this player have to have no?
It's just up to you. It can be for whatever. Whoever you, if you pick, Andre Iguodala, even though he's had multiple championships like that for whatever reason, like it's just whoever you would be happiest for if they won a championship, one person from each team.
Okay, it's so many storylines. For LA, you can go down to like Anthony Davis. Does this championship justify, the Lakers making such a big commitment to him, trading all their young stars and draft picks in the future for AD? Does he justify, all that trouble? And if he gets a championship and possibly Finals MVP, you have to say yeah. And then you have somebody like Rondo, just for like history reasons, man, historical reasons. Want to be the one like the first players to win a championship for the Celtics and the Lakers. That's like, very rare. And then lastly, LeBron James, man. I mean, it was all about, with Kawhi Leonard and, LeBron James be the first player to win 3 MVPs or Finals MVPs for 3 different teams, man. So I'll go with AD right now, man, because, he's from Chicago. I got love for Chicago, my Chicagoans, you know what I'm saying? So I'll pick AD for the Lakers. And then for the Heat, I say Jimmy Butler, bro, just because he epitomizes, that Miami Heat culture. He got it from the mud. He's a hard worker, man. So I'll say Jimmy Butler and AD. How about you?
Yeah, Jimmy took the stairs up, bro. And that's one thing I always respect about him. And that's what I said before you came on. I don't know. I can't really rock with AD like that, man, because I just feel like that's giving a little bit too much credit, bro. I mean, you're already getting a championship out the deal, but for me to be able to give you, not that it really matters or that he cares, but for me to be able to give him like the guy that I would be the most happiest for on the team after he just jumped ship and just I had a conversation with one of my mentors yesterday on his show, Jack Ebling. Check him out on the Drive with Jack. But explaining to him that like I don't think that Anthony Davis is a top 10 player in this league. And a lot of people going to call me crazy for it. A lot of people are going to feel like it solidifies himself as a top 10 player in this league. A lot of people feel like top 2, top 3, top 5 or whatever. But like, I just, this team jumping ship and doing all that, like, I'm just not a fan of it like that for real. And if you that good, bro, like you should have been able to get at least out of the first round. And I know that this stuff is very difficult to do anyways and whatever, but now my player was Dwight Howard personally. Dwight Howard done have more than enough scrutiny. Him probably not as much as LeBron James, but he's probably pretty high up there. Maybe not about what he hasn't achieved, but just him as a person. And I'm just really not in love with that. I'm glad that you did mention Rajon Rondo, though. Second player in NBA history. I guess first player, like you said, to win championships with LA and Boston. Now, tell me this, because I'm going to tell you something I heard Paul Pierce say at the beginning of the show. Paul says that he's taking LA in a sweep. What is okay? How many games who do you have as the winner? And how many games after seeing this tonight? I don't know how much the Lakers winning tonight really changes that for you, but how many games did you have this going?
Yeah, man. Like I told you earlier on the phone, man. The conspiracy theories say the Lakers are going to win in 5 games, 4-1, in honor of Kobe. You know, in each round of the series, they've won the series 4 games to 1. You know, Kobe tragically passed away at age 41 years old, man. So I'm going to rock with the whole Kobe Mamba, you know what I'm saying, that theory, and say the Lakers in 5. But just to backtrack just a minute ago when you said Dwight Howard, that's a good pick, man. But it's so funny for the reasons why you kind of like, discredited AD if he won the championship. You can say that Dwight Howard was the first AD. He came to the Lakers 5, 6, 7 years ago to play with Kobe, you know what I'm saying, and formed that original LeBron and AD kind of like 1-2 combo. It's supposed to be like Kobe and AD. And then you say you're not feeling this, players jumping ship and everything, but it's the like the contemporary NBA right now, man. That's what's happening right now, Tate. So you got to take that into factor. And plus, D Howard was a journeyman as well as AD. You said AD jumping teams, but this is like what Dwight Howard's like 6th or 7th team. So
it is, but I don't feel like all of that was on Dwight. Like a lot of the times people wanted to get rid of Dwight more than Dwight maybe either wanting to leave or just decided not to play on his own terms or whatever, what have you. And I know these more of that journeyman and stuff like that. And he did try to go and team up with Steve Nash and Kobe and those guys. But I just feel like, he's earned it at this point, bro. He's a vet in this league. Like, he's earned his stripes. He took a team by himself to the finals. He did that himself. You know what I mean? So I just definitely want to give him a little bit of credit. Now, as far as for the conspiracy theorists out there, like you were mentioning, I just want to throw this out there for the people, and hopefully I try not to get too long-winded about it. 2009, Kobe defeated Houston in round 2, as did 2020 LeBron. Okay. 2009, Kobe defeated the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, as did LeBron, did it 4-1 in that one as well. And then obviously everybody knows that Kobe defeated Orlando in Orlando. Cause you drinking a gallon of milk,
agua, baby, water, agua, man. You got to stay hydrated.
The H2O. I thought Cuz put out a 40. I thought Cuz put out a gallon of milk, 2%, bro.
Hey, Boys in the Hood style, man. But hey, I thought this was after hours, bro. Am I being?
No, it is. No, we.
Sorry, good. I got blue rag on. I'm drinking water. I got the hot in the background.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You a new man. Cuz came out with the water. Cuz is getting on. You got the keto diet probably popping. Got the kale salad. With the hot chips in the back. I was going to ask you about this real quick. I know we kind of getting off the subject a little bit. Yeah. You see what I'm doing over here, bro?
With the Sparty.
Okay, I just want to make sure you peeping what you know what I'm saying? Picking up what I'm laying down, bro. I just want to make sure we up. But no, I definitely want to get back into this. And obviously, Kobe, the 2009 Kobe, you a fool, cuz defeated Orlando in Orlando 4-1, where he got his 4th world championship in the NBA Finals. Now, as far as 2020 LeBron, we haven't exactly seen if just yet if he's going to win his 4th championship in Orlando against his former team in Miami. Like you said, Kobe was 41. But think about how crazy this is, though, Dice. Now, I know you missed your analogies, but I thought about this when me and you was talking about it on the phone. Miami is a 5 seed.
Okay.
LA is the 1 seed. That's where you have that 5, even though it's not 4-1, 5 minus 1. That's where you get the 4, and then you got, so if you take the 5 plus the 4, That's 9 plus the 1. That's 10. LeBron been to the finals. This is 10th final. So it ain't really a whole lot of that. Just
okay.
I'm trying to put my Iron Mike Dyson thinking cap on, bro, and trying to channel some of your energy.
I like that, and plus, 5 plus 1, is 6, which was LeBron's Olympic number. 5 is
and when he was in Miami.
In Miami, there you go. And championships, Kobe had 5 championships, 1 more than the LeBron. So I like the whole 5-1 symmetry. I'll just tell you what, though, man, just getting back to tonight's game and what I saw, man, like the optics, bro, like the feel, the vibe I got from the game, the broadcast, just watching it. Mm-hmm. I feel like LeBron came in like Lorenz Tate, Dead Presidents. I heard the big payback music when he was in the pool hall looking for Chauncey, you know what I'm saying? I'm messing up names probably, you know what I'm saying? But he had a swagger back, because the last time you seen LeBron James at the scene of the crime, which is the NBA Finals, he was getting handled, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like the last time we saw him was 2018. It was this game to J.R. Smith. Remember, he was like wilding out on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he's still riding the coattail all the way to a championship this time. Just don't put Cuz in the game. I got a feeling he's gonna mess it up, bro.
I think he got some time in the game for some mock time, man. But anyway, in 2017 though, D-Tate, Golden State, they overpowered Cleveland. So my whole point is, the last time we seen LeBron James in the finals, it's like he was like a sympathetic figure. It's like he came in like, oh, poor LeBron, he about to get handled by KD and stuff and everything. So it's just, you almost kind of like felt sorry for him if you're a LeBron James fan. Now, fast forward 2 years later, he's the the favorite again. He's not the underdog. He has his boy AD with him. He on the court. He got swag back. He's strutting, and you can tell refreshing if you're a LeBron James fan to see him be the favorite, bro. And that's the vibe I got from watching this game.
Regardless of who wins this series, bro, are you putting that? We know about it's pandemic and they in the bubble and you ain't got no fans. By the way, shout out to the job that they've done with the virtual board, man, that included Barack Obama tonight.
Oh, man.
And good to see 17 NBA champions that was on that thing, too. But are you putting an asterisk on the champion at all? Why or why not? Why not?
First off, shout out to Barack Obama making his rounds. Not only was he at the finals, I think he was in the shade room, bro. You know what I'm saying? Encouraging, like, the shade roommates to go out and vote. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to B.O., man.
I'm old man. I'm grandpa. Tuck my shirts in, bro. What's the shit? What's the shade room, bro?
I'm just tapped in, bro. It's like an Instagram blog site. You know what I'm saying? You go in there for all the tea, as the kids say. You know what I'm saying? Get all the dirt, the gossip, and stuff like that, man. But it's really official. A lot of celebrities check it out, man. But people really go there for the comments, though. You know what I'm saying? You just read the comments, and people be going in and joining people, man. So it's funny, man. So anyway, Barack Obama made his rounds to the shade room and encouraged the roommates to go out and vote, man. And then you see him at the final. So shout out to him. But what was the question, though, bro? About before Obama? What were we talking about?
Nah, I'm just like who do you got me faded over here, bro. I'm over here. I'm over here tripping, bro. I'm just trying to figure out, like, let's move forward past that for a second, because I want to get a little bit deeper.
That's what she said.
She did say that. Peep though, when you talking about a Miami team, I've been hearing quite a few people kind of picking up this analogy or this narrative of comparing them to the 04 Detroit Pistons. Yeah. Do you see similarities there? Do you think that that's really on base, bro? Because I got my own little way of feeling. Like, I'm just under the impression of, yes, it does have that David versus Goliath feel. However, like, that Detroit team was a lot more seasoned, like, and veteran led, and had been through more bumps and bruises. And the key contributors for Detroit's team was just had more experience. Like, they've been down through there. They had those wars before. Right. And I don't think that's something that Miami has. What do you think in the comparisons that people are making to the 04 Pistons?
Yeah, that's a great point, man. And the question you did ask me, do I think that the winner of this finals will have like an asterisk? You know what I'm saying? So I'll answer that question after that, though, man. But I don't compare this Miami Heat team to the '04 Pistons team. Like you said, Chauncey Billups was Mr. Big Shot. You know what I'm saying? He was a seasoned veteran. Who's the point guard for this Miami Heat team? You know what I'm saying? A rookie, Kendrick Nunn, who had a good, decent, 2/3 of the season, but he was struggling to find time in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Then Tyler Hero, we talked on the phone. He's a good combo guard. You can get to the rack. He has serviceable handles, but he doesn't have like consistent point guard handles to get out of a jam. If he's getting trapped, you know what I'm saying? He might dribble the ball off his foot or turn the ball over or get ripped. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like their point guards compared to Chauncey Billups. And then you had Rip Hamilton. He was a multiple all-star going into the 2004 finals, averaged 20 points a game. You had Tayshaun Prince. I mean, Ben Wallace, a multiple defensive player of the year. And then Rasheed Wallace traded Hitman. And then, I mean, come on now, bro. I mean, I don't like that comparison. Like I told you before, this team reminds me of a souped up 2007 Cleveland Cavaliers team or a souped up 2001 2000 Philadelphia 76ers team. Like I said, those teams were led by Allen Iverson and LeBron James, right? You had like a dynamic superstar that led those teams, but the teams that they led were not that good. They were just like role players. You know what I'm saying? Like your shout out to Michigan State, but your Eric Snows and your Boobie Gibson and your Boobie Gibsons and so forth. This Miami team, their superstar is Jimmy Butler. He's nowhere like near an Allen Iverson or LeBron James, but his team is better than those Cleveland and Philadelphia teams. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said they're like a souped up version of them. So I see the comparison with those teams more so than the '04 Pistons team. And do I think it will be an asterisk this year? If anything, I'm going to rob this because I heard this earlier. I think the asterisk should signify that this championship was harder than a regular championship. You know what I'm saying? A regular
Why?
season. Because there's so many intangibles, no access to a family. We're going through a pandemic. We don't know what the heck's going on, what can happen to you. You know what I'm saying? The risk factor. You don't have any home court advantage. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers got the 1 seed, but you don't have any fans, you know what I'm saying, going crazy and disrupting the away team, man. So it's definitely more challenging. If LeBron wins the championship, I mean, he can be the first person to tell you the difference if it was harder or not, because he won the championship in the bubble and outside of the bubble. So
put on your head coaching hat for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge you with something real quick. If you Eric Spoelstra, okay, we got Iron Mike Dyson, head coach, just got his brains blown out in game 1 of the NBA Finals to the Lakers. Okay. Right. What's the post-game locker room speech? Like I ain't talking about the PG rated. Well, we go out there and get them next time. We just got a couple of. With knowing this Miami team and knowing you, what are you going in there saying to these guys?
Bro, we come too far to go over any X's and O's. The X's and O's did not defeat us tonight. It was execution and effort. I mean, yeah, a couple of our players, Dragic, you know what I'm saying, Bam got hurt. You can't really account for that. But like that hustle and that execution, you can like control that. So we're not going to watch any tape, any film, throw the film away, burn that shit. You know what I'm saying? This feeling you have right now, the salty feeling, hold that. Keep that. Put it in the Ziploc bag. Put it in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. You know what I'm saying? Keep that feeling and let's execute better with that same feeling for game 2. And I think we'll come out a lot better.
No doubt, man. I love it, man. My dude, Iron Mike Dice, man, special guest for the night on the recap for the final buzzer. Basketball aficionado, man, and an analogy expert. If you don't know that, if folks don't know that, then they ain't been paying attention, bro. There's a couple things that I saw, man, in regards to this game. And first, I want to kind of, start it off with, let's start it out with the Lakers. Like, I was highly critical of a couple guys who played much better tonight. I think they played their best games tonight probably than they have in the entire playoffs, probably the entire season, if I had to guess. And that's and that's the jump shooters. They're primary jump shooters. That obviously being, Danny Green and Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Like two dudes that I feel like are probably more so Danny Green, one-dimensional players, and I feel like just couldn't even do that right for real. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to get them dudes some credit. I was curious to know how they're going to shoot, how they're going to contribute. I'm not holding my breath to assume that they're going to do anything remotely close to what they did tonight, but I thought that they were very, very key for this game because of the fact that Miami is known for running that zone. And everybody knows you gotta bust them out of a zone. And the only way you do that is by shooting the ball very well. Speaking of shooting the ball very well, the Lakers, man, did a phenomenal job. I mean, in the first half,
11 threes.
11 threes, dude. They shot 65% from three and 38% from three for the game. Who do you see as the, I guess,
X factor?
X factors / I guess key players that if Miami wants to make a run and try and tie this thing up in a couple days and or win the series, let alone, who do you think needs to step up and what they have to do?
Well, it all starts with their best player, and right now you have to say is Bam Adebayo. What's his health? How's it look going forward? How's that shoulder looking? I think that's like a reoccurring injury. So we got to see what's going on with that. Dragic has put that team on his back. I know he's like an old veteran, 30 plus years old. He's been averaging 20 plus points a game throughout these playoffs, man. So I think Tyler Hero, I hate to put that much pressure on the rookie, bro. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what got him here, though.
Exactly. So and Duncan Robinson, man. Oh my God, where are you, bro? You know what I'm saying? What my man Stephen A. Smith said, we got an APB on that dude, Duncan Robinson. Where are you? Like, you talking about Danny Green being two-dimensional or one-dimensional. Duncan Robinson, you had one job. That's just to like knock down the open three, and you can't even do that, bro. So you're just like, you're a liability on that court because you're not playing defense. Offensive players are going right at you because they know you like the weak link on defense. You know what I'm saying? So
it sounds like he lives in Danny Green's head, bro. But the difference between that is that Danny Green knows better. Like, this is about to be Danny Green, I think, third championship. Like, that was one of the biggest key factors outside of me telling you, yo, Kobe passed away, unfortunately, set of circumstances, whatever. The Lakers are going to go ahead and win it. But outside of that, we talking about Rondo has a championship already experienced player. Dwight's been there. Obviously, LeBron has been there 10 times now at this point. God, like I said, Danny Green has had championships as well. JaVale McGee is another one of those players. So I feel like that is the edge that they get. But, that's something that Duncan Robinson and a lot of the players from Miami Heat that are key contributors, they don't have that. They don't have that experience. And luckily, they're getting that experience in a bubble situation because you doing that and y'all having to actually physically go on the road to like a true road game in LA would have made things a whole lot different. So I give Duncan more of a pass than I do for Danny Green.
Well, unfortunately,
you don't hear me say that too often because that's Wolverine. Yeah,
exactly.
Of course.
I knew that was coming, man. But unfortunately, it sounds like what you're saying is like the key for Miami is experience. And unfortunately, the most experience you have for the Miami Heat team is their coach and their president. And they can't get you buckets right now. Pat Riley, he's not coming down that hallway. Eric Spoelstra not coming down that hallway. You know what I'm saying? About to give you some buckets because he got a couple rings. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of like the players, they don't have any kind of like playoff or championship experience. And I think that's going to like hurt them in the end.
You mentioned Anthony Davis a little bit earlier. That dude is a player that's averaging 29 points per game. That's the highest average by any LeBron James teammate in the finals. Also, listening to his post-game comments tonight saying that they need faster starts and to avoid the opposition getting comfortable early in the game. Obviously, he's now scored the third most points in a Lakers finals debut with 34. But what are your concerns at all if you're the Lakers? Because one of my biggest concerns was that like they always find a way to let their foot off the gas, or they don't really like typically finish that strong. They got inability to like maintain leads a lot of times. Sometimes I think they was letting Denver hang around in there too long and stuff like that. And then, so while I thought that was the issue over here, he's actually saying that they can't allow the opposition to get too comfortable and they got to start out faster. It don't even have to be one of those things, but what do you see as some of the concerns with LA kind of going forward, even in this series?
Yeah, and to your point in that post-game interview, to your earlier point about the importance of KCP being the unsung hero and just stepping up and doing well and shooting well with the 3-point shooting and so forth. I think one of his first comments AD said was like, yeah, KCP saved us. He had like 2 threes or something like that. So that's to your point. And that's the answer to your question. I believe that I'm just wondering, I'm sitting back here wondering, how long can the Lakers keep this up, man? Because one of the 2 reasons why I didn't pick the Lakers to go to the finals and win was, number one, coming into the bubble, they looked so dry. Their chemistry and energy was off. And number 2, I did not have any faith in their jump shooters, bro. Matter of fact, I thought their jump shooting capabilities were non-existent. I looked at that team on paper. I said, who's your jump shooter? You know, Kuzma's inconsistent. Danny Green's so inconsistent. And he's smart, to your credit about him being in so many finals. I think he's a smart dude. He knows where the hitch is his wagon. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's Kawhi Leonard, it's gonna be LeBron James. So that dude's smart, you know what I'm saying, partnering up with like the right superstar, man. But I'm just sitting back like I view the Rockets. I say, you know, the Rockets, if they're just going to depend on like scoring 130 points and knocking down threes, they're going to like go down very quickly. Now, the good thing for the Lakers, and shout out to their, you know, their players that's knocking down these shots like the KCP and so forth. But unlike the Rockets, who I just mentioned, the Lakers can fall back on defense. If KCP and Kuzma and them are not knocking down shots, they can fall back on defense. They can lock you up. We've seen that. So I'm just looking forward to like the consistency of their jump shooters, like off the bench. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, respect that. People not really paying a lot of attention to their bench like that for real, but I think that definitely brings up a good point, because that's something I haven't really paid. We never really pay much attention to, let alone the bench, but just some of the players that's not LeBron and AD and whatever. Like Caruso plays a very big part of this team, along with, you know, some of the other guys. I know Dwight is now a starter, but he plays a big part, and he ain't about to go in there and be pushing and shoving around Bam Adebayo the same way that he was doing Nikola Jokic. Like, Bam is very similar in build to where Dwight was at when Dwight was young, with the big, broad, bulky shoulders and athletic and so forth. Last thing I'm gonna mention about the Lakers, and I definitely want to throw this out there about LeBron. A couple little stat checks: 1-8 record in game ones of the NBA Finals. So now I guess he's 2-8. Now, or would that be 2-9? I guess 2-8 of NBA Finals, and now the 4th player to appear in 10 NBA Finals, joining Sam Jones, Bill Russell, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, playing in his 50th NBA Finals game, his 255th playoff game. And I stole this one from you, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Could be a 3-time MVP with 3 different franchises, bro, which is absolutely mind-boggling. I want that to be the last little piece that I specifically say about the Lakers. But one thing me and you do, we admire Mike. That's just what we do. However, in the same token, we always give credit where it's due. And I think it's okay if I speak for you when I say that we both have a crazy amount of respect for LeBron, that of what he's been able to do and keeping his body up and so forth. Like, it's just not that easy to do. What I do want to give you the opportunity to do is just kind of speak about LeBron, and just when you watching him do what he did tonight, what he's probably more likely about to accomplish, and what you've seen him do over the course of 17 straight ones, bro, and just getting hammered a lot of times every time you go to the basket. Everything outside of throwing his hands up and complaining. Speak a little bit about LeBron and what you've been able to see him do in terms of his duration and weight. He's been able to keep himself up in this league for such a long time.
Yeah, that's a great point, DeShaun. I think they talked about it during the broadcast too with Jeff Van Gundy. He was like comparing LeBron to Kareem and like the elongated career, 20 years of just like brilliance, man. You got to compare. At the end of the day, you're gonna have to compare like Kareem and LeBron's careers, like who had like the most successful, best career. Not who was the best player, like a Michael Jordan, who was the best in their prime, who had the most championships, but who had the most accomplished, decorated career.
Mm-hmm.
20 years of excellence. And I think, when Kareem turned like 38 or 39, the wheels started to fall off a little bit. He dipped in, his stats. He went from like averaging 23.9 points a game to like 17 or 16. Then you saw like that steady dip, that cliff that Max Kellerman describes when talking about Tom Brady, man. But LeBron James, though, man, if you look at his stat sheet in his card, man, it's like 20 plus per every year, 7 assists, 7 rebounds every year, man. So his performance is just great. Like the resume, when I see like the optics, I say, wow, he keeps himself in a phenomenal shape, excellent condition. And I just see that he's very smart to invest in his body. Like I think I heard a report that says that LeBron spends, I'm sure you heard this too, like $1 million per year in investing in his body. Like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, $1 million, bro, per year.
This is the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's paying off.
That's a big deal, bro.
It's $1 million,
especially trusting supplements that you're taking and stuff like that. Like that's
you got to consider probably like gym time, private trainers, flying them in town, out the country, in the country, all types of times, 4 in the morning, you know what I'm saying, fly them down, like you said, like the medicines and the creatines and the training and just the facilities and so forth. So you got to,
cuz ain't got no time to go to the club or nothing like that, to go to the gentleman's club or nothing like that if he doing all that training and all of that.
Well, I'm sure he's multifaceted, bro. He can multitask. but when I look at him,
multifaceted.
When I look at LeBron, though, just the optics, I say, you know what, man, this is what Shaq probably could have been if he would have just, conditioned himself and took care of his body. Like those same things that Kobe and Shaq used to like butt heads over. Kobe always say like, Shaq, get the hell
coming in fat to the camp.
Because like physically, like I told my man the other day, like, and for 3 different reasons, okay, for different reasons, but physically, the 3 most dominant players I've seen ever in my life were like Shaq, Jordan, and LeBron and Kobe too. Like those 4 players, like physically, you just couldn't stop them, bro, for different reasons. Like Mike, too fast, athletic, and Kobe too. But then Shaq, he's just so big and athletic, though, bro. Like you couldn't stop. You have no answer for that. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if Shaq had that LeBron James, like aptitude or just propensity to like condition and work out and train himself and had that will, you know what I'm saying, to train himself. So I look at LeBron and say, wow, man, he's been fortunate too. No, he's never sustained a major injury in his career. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little bit of luck. So I look at LeBron, man, he's going to be one of the first players, since you throwing out great stats, bro. He's going to be like the first player to have like 30,000 career points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. I'll call that the career triple-double. You know what I'm saying? He's like first in all the categories, in the playoffs, man. So on paper, he's excellent, bro. But to bring it back to Mike, where you started off at, man, there'll never be, like we said earlier, man, a lot of times when we say Michael Jordan's the greatest, it's often an opinion. But in 2020, that's damn near a fact, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at this point, I mean, LeBron ain't wearing the number 23 because like that ain't happening. We already talked about the Space Jam 1 versus 2. We ain't even gonna get into that part of the conversation, but I definitely gotta give credit, you know what I'm saying, where it's due to LeBron and the job that he's done with his body, bro, because that's a hell of an investment. And what he's doing is just absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, bro must have been in there drinking the whole milk, you know what I'm saying, and eating the Wheaties, bro, and taking all the little Flintstone vitamins and all of that, bro. So I want to leave it on this note right here. Obviously, we don't really have like a prognosis or know the exact, what's gonna transpire with the way that these guys from Miami are going to heal. But we saw Goran Dragic go down in the first half with a left foot injury. He was doubtful, and then it was official that he wasn't going to be coming back. That's obviously where you inserted Kendrick Nunn in that position. Okay. Then you had Jimmy Butler, who was running around gingerly on an ankle that he twisted the same one twice. And even though he returned, he clearly wasn't the same player. And you had Bam Adebayo, who went out with a left shoulder strain in the first half as well. Like, if you don't have those players, or I wouldn't assume any of those guys are really going to miss significant time, especially if you Butler or Adebayo. I can't imagine that. But let's just say, for craps and giggles, bro, if you're Dragic, you're Butler, and you're Adebayo, and you're just not 100%, and your time has to be limited significantly from where it was when this next game comes around. Like, what players on this Heat roster do you think need to step up and contribute if they want to try and total up some wins? And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, man. So I got to start with Wolverine boy. I mentioned his name earlier, man. Duncan Robinson. I mean, you're going to show me, bro. If you're just that one-dimensional player, do your one job. If you have one job, do your one job, good, effectively, efficiently, expeditiously. You know what I'm saying? So Duncan Robinson, that's number one. I would say number two, it's easy to say Tyler Hero, man. But you know what? He's at the point where
he was doing all that talking. He the one talking about, he getting all the accolades. People were showing him all the love. You would have thought he was the white Jordan, and maybe that's probably taking a little bit too far, but he was getting shown a lot of love, and in some cases more love than Adebayo and Butler. Definitely more love than Goran Dragic, who's been the most consistent player on this team all playoffs. So I ain't gonna steal your thunder, but one thing I can say about Hero, bro, is that, like, he was the one that was talking about, I'm going to remember all the 12 names that got drafted before me and all of that. It's starting to kind of sound like Michael Porter Jr. at one point in time in the post game.
Oh, that's a fact, man. That's a spicy comment right there, man. But to get back to your original question, one last name is, for me, is Jay Crowder. Coming into this game, I just wonder, because, like, you and me, man, you and I, bro, we have similar outlooks when it comes to storylines and, like, reading in between the lines and so forth, man. And I always feel like Jay Crowder felt like he wasn't accepted and included to LeBron James' inner circle when he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. When Crowder came to the Cavs, I feel like LeBron looked at him like, we got you, and we expected to win a championship. We're not going to be Golden State with Jay Crowder. And that was the vibe that LeBron gave up. And I feel like Jay Crowder picked up on that too. You know what I'm saying? So he never felt kind of welcome. I even saw that chemistry on the court. Like, they never played together. It's like Crowder always felt like he was slighted, man. So I was very interested and curious to see his approach to this game. Like, will he have like an edge or a chip on his shoulder? He didn't have that chip on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? He resorted to histrionics and his little Marcus Smart-esque type, flopping and flailing and stuff, man. Like, so just Crowder's a swole dude. He's a gritty dude.
That's a big dude, bro. Crowder's not a small dude.
And he has skills, bro. So just, like, get back to, doing what you do and do it well, man. So I'm looking for Duncan Robinson, Hero, but especially Jay Crowder from Miami.
I want to throw a question out there to you, and this is the last one for the night, and we're gonna top it. We're gonna top it off and put the stamp on it, put a bow on this one, bro. And this is just hypothetically speaking. We ain't out here trying to put dudes together and put them in no back alley and make them throw hands, but just hypothetically speaking, because this is what we do, bro.
Yeah.
If Jay Crowder and Jimmy Butler was to have some words, and it went a little bit further than words, and it was like, hold on, cuz, get up, hold on, don't touch me, cuz. Hold on, cuz.
Yeah.
Like, who you got in that one, bro? Because Jay Crowder, I know Jimmy Butler get the reputation of two guys I've never seen throw hands like that. Last time we brought LeBron into this conversation, which that's a whole nother story. But
right.
Who you think?
They were teammates back in the day from Marquette.
And Marquette.
Yeah, man. So, not that has anything to do with anything, man. But Jay Crowder, on paper, though, bro, it seemed like he would have the edge. But But I just feel like Jimmy Butler got that arrogance and that swag to him. So like I ain't about to lose to him, to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like he can like be like really self-delusional and he talking himself into thinking I'm not about to lose. This dude can't beat me. So I'll give the edge to Jimmy Butler. He has the longer reach, couple inches taller. So I'll give the Jimmy Butler. But it'll be a good one though, man. Because
that'll be a good one, bro. That's a tight one.
Shout out, that's what she said.
Hey,
shout out to South Georgia, Jay Crowder and them, man. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. Appreciate the homie Iron Mike coming through. Throwing some little jokes around in there, man. Follow him on the social tip at the Delegate24, at the Delegate24 on all social media platforms. And of course, you do the same thing for me at Tate's Take Hoops, TATESTAKEHOOPS, where basketball lives. That's the hashtag. Remember to subscribe. I can't stress it enough to Tate's Take, the podcast, anywhere you find your favorite podcast, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Red Circle, streaming live on YouTube, streaming live currently on IG as well. And you never know who you're gonna get, what kind of guests you're gonna get, on Tate's Take the podcast, man. We had Rob Parker come on. That was hella funny. You want to go and check that one out if you ain't peeped it. And so we've been getting some pretty good guests, man. I like to think that it's been very comical, informational, educational, entertaining. That's the way that we like to keep it. So for me and my boy Dice, man, it's the final buzzer with DeShaun Tate, episode 19 in the books. 15 minutes after game two, the NBA Finals in the bubble, man. Make sure that you're looking for the final buzzer. I'm gonna try and see if I can pull my boy Dice back in with me, yo, for the final buzzer, episode 20 of that one, man. So appreciate y'all, appreciate you, Dice, man. I'll check y'all in a couple days.